Yo, it's good. Skano from the gutter. While this deportation issue largely does not affect FBAs, make no mistakes, man. This whole immigration process has everything to do with black folks. When the last 4 years, especially when Biden was in office, and millions of immigrants, legal and illegal, flooded across the border. Who do you think they're going to be competing with? As far as obviously occupation, housing, you know, schooling, all across the board. Who do you think they're? This has everything to do with black folks. I made a video about a year ago, maybe a little more. And I had some Latinos that came on the channel and, commented I was fear mongering because I said they were eradicating us. Now, I'm not saying the Latinos, by default, the Latinos, but I'm saying the government. Eradicate, they sold us out. Now, a majority of what they call essential occupations, the lower tier as far as the social economic ladder, the lower tier occupations, a majority of those jobs are held by FBAs. They were. And when you had millions and millions, like I said, of immigrants coming over here, for cheaper labor, who do you think was most affected by this process? And not to say there weren't, white folks on the lower end of the social economic ladder that were not affected. And you're hearing from them, but largely this affects black folks. So there is no black and brown solidarity. This is black versus brown competition. That's what's. So make no mistakes, man. Everything is up for grabs now. And this is not about fear mongering, it's reading the writing on the wall. It's not an infinite amount of resources. There isn't an infinite amount of, space. You don't have to compete for that. And like I said, it's not going to be a majority of, the white demographic of this country that is in competition with these immigrants. It's going to be FBAs, and that's all to it. Now, I'm already hearing about in the construction industry how, if you know, Latinos got a stranglehold somewhat on that industry. And slowly but surely, over the last decade, they've all but eradicated black folks from the construction industry, depending on what state you're in. Largely in the South, for sure. You got, and this is not hating, this is just the facts. They, have managerial positions, supervisors, and they looking out for their own, man. I noticed something about us, man, and I don't want to get off the subject, but in my experience, we don't look out for each other like we should. We'll get black folks get some clout, and I'm talking about in the job field. And it's like scarcity syndrome. They want to block, cop block other black folks. You know what I'm saying? So that shit is coming back to bite us, man. There's no reason why we shouldn't be running, the construction industry. I'm saying all these essential jobs, because we've been here. You know what I'm saying? How in the hell did this turn of events occur? So make no mistakes. While we, and I agree as far as the deportation process and these protests and all that shit, farthest from my radar. But the fact remains, this immigration issue is right in our laps, man. You know what I'm saying? And there's no way we can ignore that. Because, like I said, there isn't an infinite amount of resources in this country. So, buckle down, man. And like I said, be careful. If you work in an industry or job field where there are, it's majority Latino, watch yourself and be careful. Cross your T's, dot your I's, because like I said, man, they are, the sabotage has begun, you know, I'm saying in full force in light of, you know, FBAs deciding to sit out this ICE protest situation. So you're going to see a lot of pettiness going on, a lot of backbiting, a lot of backdooring. It's about to ramp up. And while, for the most part, I have not run across aggression from Latinos, for the most part, I'm not talking about members, I'm talking about just in general. There's going to be, there's going to be conflict. It's going to be conflict. And the crazy thing about this is our government sold us out, and now they sitting back. The powers that be sitting back and watching this shit play out. The black versus browns. And like I said, Latinos, y'all focused on the wrong shit. But it is what it is, man. But there's no solidarity. This is all about competition. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, man, we built for this. So it is what it is. 216 Skano. You already know.